So I went and got a massage the other day. Holy cow. 2 days ago, massage. Today, my back is still on fire. It hurts to sit. Leaning against a chair is not a comfortable thing. And of course, the guidance that they give you afterward is, you should get more of these. If only at the time to spend the rest of my life, not being able to sit down in a chair. What's going on, YouTube? This is Rider Bad back again with another Knight Rider video. So the BBC had a very important announcement a couple days ago, and it was not that Nintendo's stock had dropped 18%. It wasn't that, because that didn't actually happen. No, what BBC's actual major announcement was to all of the other mainstream press, financial press, video gaming press, everywhere across the world, it is finally far enough past the holidays to hate on Nintendo again. Yes, the Nintendoom came out in full force in the last couple days. So BBC reported that after Nintendo made their announcements on their earnings, their stock plummeted the minute that the announcement was made, and then shortly thereafter it leveled off back to about six points down or something like that. Here's why this is a non-event. Nintendo's share price was up 52 points for the year. So in the past year, they've gone up 52%, so losing 6% after the kind of announcement that they had to make, that's actually not all bad news. Another thing came out of those announcements. Iwata-san said he read the market wrong. He did read the market wrong where their marketing stance comes into play. There's nothing wrong with the Wii U as a system, right? There's nothing... when he says he read the market wrong, I don't think it has anything to do with that. What I think it has more to do with is the types of games and the types of experiences that he decided to push really hard in 2013 to try to get the system selling. That wasn't where the market was going, and it was a mistake to market it that way. It was a mistake to make that push. That's where I think he's coming from, and I would have to agree with him. People were looking for a Nintendo system that catered to a core gamer. And this year, the Wii U, there are a couple of experiences that cater to a core gamer, but they're few and far between. When you look at the breadth of experiences available right now for the Wii U, most of the games have been, and even most of the announcements have been, either party games or local multiplayer games, or both. So what people are looking for from Nintendo, go ahead and market toward the core gamer, which is something they should have been doing from the beginning. But let's be honest, Nintendo didn't have the games in the pipeline, or deep enough in the pipeline, to be able to release them in 2013 to get those kinds of experiences out there, to be able to market the system. There's a whole lot of stuff that has to happen in order to market your system a certain way, and they just didn't have the games in the pipeline to be able to do that. Now that they do, they got X in the pipeline, they got Smash Brothers in the pipeline, they got Mario Kart in the pipeline, Donkey Kong's coming out next month, just a few weeks away. They'll be able to market toward the core gamer. So You know, throughout the holidays, there wasn't a whole lot of Nintendo hate, and it was kind of eerie, right? I'm sure a lot of people were thinking to themselves, like, man, you know, there hasn't been a whole lot of negative Nintendo news. What's going on here? Well, they were waiting for the notification from the good old BBC that they were all clear. It is officially, what, 3 weeks now past Christmas, past the holiday. So it's game on. You ever play street hockey? Car? Game on. One of those situations. My lens is fogging up here a little bit. It's not cool. So, and now that that's out of the bag, now you got a whole lot of people talking about, you know, if you read through NeoGAF, it's hilarious. And Shokyo pointed it out too. People saying that, you know, back to the whole Nintendo should go third party, and even after the market cap adjustment from this most recent 6-point loss in Nintendo stock, they still have a larger market cap than Sony. Is it 1.25 billion, somewhere along those lines, that their market cap was adjusted? They are still technically a larger, you know, more worthwhile company than Sony. Market cap. It's not. I'm not talking about actual, you know, assets and receipts. So there's no reason to start, you know, shouting in the streets that Nintendo is doomed because their stock dropped 6 points. And if anything, you should take all of the good news that came out of this, you know, very seriously, because, you know, Iwata is saying that he read the market wrong and he's going to beef up his R&D teams, and he's going to put more effort into finding out what the Western market wants from Nintendo and from gaming companies in general. And that is a great thing, you know. That doesn't hurt anybody. It helps. I mean, it's great for the gamer, and if they do it right, it's great for Nintendo. No time like the present to figure out your shit, right? You know, something I didn't mention in the last video. It makes perfect sense for them to have similar naming conventions and to have begun development of both of their new platforms, the mobile and the home console, at the same time. And that was because back in 2012, early 2013, they merged their mobile their mobile games and their home gaming hardware divisions. So it makes perfect sense for them to be developing all of that together to make sure that they interact the way that you would want them to. They're getting a little bit of cross-play, I'm sure, with the 3DS, but it's not where people want it. You know, it's not the kind of things people were hoping for from Nintendo, but I mean, keep in mind, it's still early in the game for the 8th gen, so there's still a lot of time for Nintendo to add some, you know, some interesting cross-platform play features. So now that the stay has been lifted by the BBC, expect to see a lot more Nintendoom articles, Nintendoom videos. Expect to see a lot more coming from Michael Pachter, from Adam Sessler, anybody that, how can I forget, Eurogamer? Expect, you know, anybody that has a history of being biased against Nintendo for one reason or another to go ahead and live up to their legacy there. But weighing in on all of this news was Michael Pachter, and I've come to the point where I try to avoid anything that Michael Pachter says, because the guy is such an adult that his critical analysis gives me a brain aneurysm. Just nothing that he says makes any sense in the real world. And this guy is somebody who is supposed to be doing this for a living. He's a you know, a market analyst for the games industry, and his analysis is almost 100% way off from the mark. He was one of the ones singing the same swan song back just a couple years ago, saying that Nintendo should abandon the 3DS business. Nintendo's, you know, was a bad buy because of the 3DS flop. Well, he's now saying again, he's said it before, but he's saying it again, you know, following all this recent news, that they should get out of the Wii U business, drop the console altogether, either come out with something new or go third party and release their games on other platforms. I love how Michael Pachter loves to say, I'll never argue against Nintendo's software strategy. Their software strategy is always really good, but their hardware strategy, you know, people want better capacitors to play on than what Nintendo puts out. But their software, second to none. It doesn't work that way, Michael. But he is calling for them to leave the Wii U behind, and I think that that would be the worst decision they could ever make. That would be the worst idea ever for Nintendo. And I'm glad that they pay absolutely zero attention to the guy. And I think if you asked Reggie or you asked Iwata what about something Michael Pachter said, they'd say, Michael who? But who? He doesn't have anything to do with our business. And that's a good thing. Because despite what he said, despite the critical analysis of the 3DS business that he had, the 3DS is going on to become a critical success and a commercial success. So it's a good thing that he doesn't get a whole lot of traction with these companies. I mean, he gets a lot of media attention because it's really, really popular to hate on Nintendo. But it just goes to show you, now that the BBC did that report and completely, you know, ignored the fact that Nintendo's stock bounced back at the end of the day, they've opened up the floodgates to the Wii U haters and the Nintendo haters to go ahead and start making their pitches for Nintendo to friggin' leave the gaming business altogether. So the cycle has begun again. Despite the fact that the Wii U has the best games lineup of any next-gen system, hands down, despite the fact that they've got a game that they released that won multiple Game of the Year awards from several different outlets, despite the fact that they've won Publisher of the Year, and despite the fact that they've got a larger market cap than Sony, and despite the fact that they're in a much better financial situation than Sony and Microsoft's game division. Microsoft's game division bleeds money as well. The problem with Sony is that Sony bleeds money everywhere. And in order to make up for that, they've been selling their headquarters buildings and trying to make up by selling as many assets as they can, trying to bleed off assets to try to keep their market cap up as high as they can. know, despite all that, Nintendo's the one that's doomed. And, you know, whatever. They've been doomed for a long time now. People are going to say what they're going to say. I try to ignore Michael Pachter as often as I can. But sometimes he says things that just elicit a guttural response from me. If I listen to nothing but Michael Pachter news all day, I'd sound like Tim the Toolman Taylor. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. As always, remember to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one.